It's important to have a place where you sort of keep your fishing rod, you know.
Was the show in Copenhagen the biggest production you have done so far?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And you use Copenhagen as a base when you're not on the Faroe Islands, right?
Yeah.
Is that what does that city mean to you? Is it as important as your hometown, or?
Yeah, it's kind of become that. I mean, that's where I spent the most time. I mean, throughout the years for traveling so much, I felt the sort of need to be in places where I feel at home. Because I lived I was spending a lot of time in America, and I lived in London for 6 years, in Stockholm for a year also. And I sort of got fed up with just always having to learn how stuff works, you know, different languages, and it just felt so complicated, and I just felt really tired from always being moving, you know. So I made sort of an executive decision that, okay, I want to be based in places where I feel the most comfortable, where I know how stuff works, you know, where to take the bus and why this person is funny on television, you know. There's all these complicated things in a society that you can only understand if you spent a certain amount of time there and invested in knowing how stuff works. And I've done that a lot in all these different countries, but there's the countries that I feel the most sort of calm in is Copenhagen and the Faroes, very much because that's where my friends are too. I think that has a lot to say. And that's also why I made my new record in Copenhagen also. And I just want everything to be nice and calm and healthy in some ways.
So what are the chances that you will be moving to a different city, like Berlin, for example, in the next couple of years?
Well, I would be open for that. I mean, like now I feel much more grounded, and my sort of plan is to have I have the house on the Faroes, and that's sort of my base. And then what is now Copenhagen can always be Berlin or wherever. I can always move that. You know, life happens. You know, you can't decide on those things. That just happens. I mean, yeah.
But how many days a year do you spend on the Faroes altogether?
I mean, like a little bit less than half of the time. I mean, that's what I've been doing now since the summer, since the winter.
And when you're in Copenhagen, where do you live? Are you living with friends, or do you have a place there?
Yeah, no, I'm just living with friends. My friends, they got a big flat, so I'm just renting a room there. Yeah, and most of my friends live like, you know, 2 minutes away, walking distance.
So you're not couch surfing the city or something?
No, no.
But you already mentioned all your friends are in Copenhagen and in the Faroes.
Mm-hmm.
But more of them in Copenhagen or more of them on the Faroes?
Well, it's kind of the same. Well, maybe more of the Faroes, really. But I have got friends all over, you know, all over the world, really.
Yeah, I ask it because it seems, to me, it would be hard to be away from my friends for half a year, you know.
Right.
But you don't have that kind of.
Well, my friends are like, so when my friends from the Faroes are in Denmark, I also see them. And actually, like, I was talking to some of my friends in like New York and Toronto and those kind of places. They say that they see me more often than they see their friends who live in New York and Toronto, because I come there and I play and I meet them and we say hello. And often sometimes you see really great friends. You can see them only for twice a year or something, even though they're really in some ways close friends or friends that understand you and that can relate to you and that sort of follow you. And those people, you don't really necessarily see them every day.
Keep strong.
Yeah, yeah, real friends are like that. You know?
You moved to Copenhagen for the first time when you were 17, if I'm right?
Yeah, well, I moved to the north of Denmark.
What was your motivation back then to move away from?
Well, it was my mom and my stepdad that moved to Denmark, and so I just went along. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I was in a band, and it was kind of, you know, whatever. You know, we were playing, and the Faroes were very small, and I thought it'd be nice to go away and to see something else, and then to write music and.
But eventually, the circle was round again. You moved back.
Yeah.
When was that?
Just like 2 years ago or so. But that's also because I've always been coming back there, like in the summer, in the winter, Christmas, holidays. My whole life, even though I've been traveling so much, so it's also kind of a logical thing to do. Because I realize I'm gonna be doing that my whole life, probably, and I don't want to stay at my dad's every time I go there, so may as well just have a house there and then use it as a sort of a sanctuary and a place to write in, and so it's just an investment in my life, for my life. But I don't really look at it, you know, where you live. I mean, you just live where you are and what you do, and you know, you choose your companions, you know, and I don't feel more alive or less alive in other places, but I do feel that it's, you know, it's important to have a place where you sort of keep your fishing rod, you know, or something.
And what does that place look like now?
And well, that's the Faroes. That's
Your house. Can you paint a picture of what it's like?
Yeah, well, it's like in the outskirts of a small village. The village is it's like 10 minutes away from the capital, on the other side of a mountain, and only like 180 people live in the village. And my house is sort of the furthest one to the north, and you're just overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and islands, and there's lots of bird life flying by. Lots of blue and green, like ocean, and lots of colors. You see the sky all the time, and you see the stars at night, and it's a lot of fresh air. And it's constantly changing. Like you can see storms, and you can see sun, and it's sort of very dramatic. And the inside of the house is pretty simple. So it's just I have a big kitchen and a living room, and a room upstairs where I write and sleep, and that's kind of it.
So when you are writing, you are looking out over the ocean?
Yeah.
That's what every musician wants, I believe.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. It's,